Do you want a man for president who's seasoned through and through? But that's a doggone season that he won't try something new. A man who's old enough to know
and young enough to do.
Well, it's up to you, it's up to you, it's strictly up to you. Do you want a man with spirit who is not afraid to fight?
A man whose record shows that he will fight for what is right.
A loyal man who brings the job a fresh new point of view. Well, it's up to you, it's up to you, it's strictly up to you.
Kennedy.
And do you deny to any man the right he's guaranteed to be elected president, no matter what his creed?
It's promised in the Bill of Rights to which we must be true.
So it's up to you, it's up to you, it's strictly up to you.
Kennedy.
Do you like a man who answers straight, a man who's always fair? We'll measure him against the others, and when you compare, you'll cast your vote for Kennedy and the change that's overdue. So it's up to you, it's strictly up to you.
Welcome from my humble second bedroom here in the Saucon Valley, part of Lehigh Valley, and Commonwealth of Pennsylvania, part of these United States. For now, still, maybe. You know how that goes. Western Hemisphere, North American continent on this planet Earth, the only one we have. Third rock from the sun in the Terran solar system, part of the Milky Way galaxy. This is the Kennedy Effect live with you for the 28th of June, 2026. 28th of June, 2026. This is a bit of a special program. I'd like to think that they're all special in one way or another. I'd like to think that they're all a little bit special. But this one is a little special. It is we're kicking off the second anniversary week of GCPR. More to come about that. Let's get through the business end of the program. You are listening and watching the Kennedy Effect live with you for the 28th of June. And again, I can't believe it's 28th of June already. I have to give you a bit of a warning. Very dark clouds outside the studio windows right now. If I should happen to disappear, it's probably because we get a thunderstorm or something like that. I'm not expecting, according to the weather, we're not expecting a thunderstorm, but it is very dark on the horizon there, and it looks very, very threatening. Not a lot of wind quite yet, but some pretty ominous looking clouds, shall we say. You are watching us. We're so thrilled to be here with you yet again. We are live on the Facebook pages of Ghost Claw Productions, Ghost Claw Entertainment, Hot101.net, and Our Revolution Pennsylvania, OWR, Our Revolution Pennsylvania. We are live right now on our Facebook page as well, The Kennedy Effect on Facebook, and over 100 other places across the Facebook universe. To every single individual and person that allows us to share our humble little program on your corner of the Facebook universe, and it is yours. It's not, Zuckerberg might think it's his, it's yours. If you created it, I think it's already yours. But thank you. We could not do it without you. Thanks for allowing us to share our content in your corner of the Facebook universe. We are live right now on 2 YouTube channels because one just isn't enough. GCPR, Ghost Claw Productions Radio YouTube channel, as well as The Kennedy Effect on YouTube. Easy enough to find us. And of course, the audio of the program blasts around the globe via 2 global radio stations. Hot101.net, one of the very first, the originators, one of the very foundational stones of global internet broadcasting. Hot101.net, HOT101.net, hot101.net. And you can listen to hot101.net through our website, which is, of course, our name, hot101.net. You can also listen through the Apple app and the Android app. Apps are very, very simple to find. If you have an Apple device, go to the Apple App Store, search hot101.net, download it, tap it open, and you're listening. Very, very simple. No credit cards, no blood donations. Don't have to sign over one of the children unless you want to. You don't have to sign over the house, anything like that. You can just listen for free. Android, Google Play Store for Android devices, same thing. Search hot101.net, find our app, download it, tap it, listen, and you are listening very, very easily. And of course, you can tell Alexa to play hot101.net as well. GCPR, it's our 2nd anniversary week, kicking off right now. 2 years of GCPR, which officially happens on July 1st, but we're celebrating all week. GCPR, our 2nd year underway here live on your favorite broadcast outlets. We have Apple App Store and Google Play Store as well. If you want to listen to GCPR, you can go to the Apple App Store for your Apple device. Search GCPR, find the app, tap it, and you're in. You're listening for free. Same thing for Android devices. Google Play Store, you can search GCPR, find our app, download it, tap, listen, you're in. Free. One of the beautiful, beautiful things. I'd like to think there are many beautiful things, but one of the beautiful things about both hot101.net and GCPR is that you can listen for free. 100% for free. So let's get into the program. It's great to see you all here again. And thank you for allowing me to be part of your corner of life here again on this like I said, what looks like, at least here in the Lehigh Valley, what looks like is going to be a stormy afternoon, stormy evening, stormy weather. I've noticed in recent times my voice is starting to fade, and I can really hear it now. I'm getting wispy old man voice. It's not as powerful and clear as it used to be. I'm getting wispy old man voice. But welcome to the program. Thank you for being here. I want to say special hello to Lizette, Annabelle, and Donna, and Randall, and anybody else that I might be missing. I hope I'm not missing any of you, to be honest. Let me check. You can see your comments right on the screen. We did that. I remembered to do that this time. Thank goodness. I noticed my video is a little jumpy. Again, there are storms in the area. If we should happen to disappear, you will know why. Phone line is open, 267-227-9189, 267-227-9189, 267-227-9189. It's hard to know where to start this Sunday, because there are so many different places to start. I want to start with something happy first. And that is, I wonder if any of you have paid attention to the World Cup, not just as a sporting event. If you're not a soccer fan, the World Cup probably means nothing to you. But if you are a cultural observer of what's happening in our country, then I hope you've been paying attention to the World Cup. There was a lot of trepidation about what the World Cup was going to look like in the United States under this regime. And it seems that nearly none of that has come to pass, for which I'm quite grateful. Now, Trump administration did forbid a FIFA-sanctioned referee from Somalia from entering the country. I'm sure if he was from Sweden, somehow I don't think he would have been blocked. But the teams have come in, fans have come in. It's estimated that the World Cup will generate some $17 to $20 billion in domestic revenue throughout the course of the tournament. If you have not seen the scenes of Mexican fans marching through the streets of Mexico with the duck with the Mexican jersey on, if you have not seen the scenes of, just before it came up into the studio, watch at the end of the Canada match, the Canadians playing in Los Angeles, making history, making it to the round of 16 for the first time in their history. If you haven't seen the scenes there are scenes from just yesterday. The Croatian fans who were marching through the streets of Philadelphia came upon a wedding that was having their photos taken outside, and they kind of crashed the wedding, but in the most beautiful way possible. The flags there, everybody was dancing together. They were taking pictures. The fans were celebrating this young couple as they were beginning their married life. And it was a beautiful, beautiful thing. It was spontaneous and just very, very joyful. If you haven't seen the scenes of the Scottish fans, the Tartan Army, in every city that they've been in, waking up early to the sound of bagpipes, they drank the city of Boston out of beer. Think about that one. They drank the city of Boston out of beer. They go marching through the streets on their way to the stadium, and they have endeared themselves tremendously to everywhere they've been. And it's a shame they did not qualify for the knockout stage, because I really wanted to see the Tartan Army continue to stay relevant and stay here in the States. They actually have a lot to teach us. If the Tartan Army doesn't make you want to take a trip to Scotland, I'm not sure what will, or what might. But Donna says that's a lot of beer. Yeah, it certainly is. It certainly is. Took the professionals to do it, but they drank the city of Boston dry. I think the World Cup has, or at least should, look, we can talk about the purely profit-driven idea of a 48-team tournament compared to 32 teams, the way it used to be. We can talk about uh, uh, you know, the way that the money driven cash machine that the World Cup is for FIFA. We can talk about how corrupt FIFA is. But I happen to think that when you just watch the games, the matches, if you can restrict yourself to just the matches and the fans and the supporters from around the globe that have come to the United States and that have seen the best of what we can be, then I think it can be very hopeful. I think it has been very hopeful and can be very hopeful. Excuse me. You're seeing people from all over the country open up their homes, their Verbos and their Airbnbs and their homes to these supporters from everywhere. And you're seeing these supporters from everywhere who are kind of seeing the best of the US, Canada, and Mexico, as all three are acting as hosts of this World Cup. But you're also seeing these fans show Americans the best of them, and the fans are seeing the best of us. They've been welcomed, they've been greeted, I haven't read a single story, truly not one. I've not read one story of supporters from any country being treated badly. I've not seen it. I'm sure there's been some of it. I'm sure somebody had a wallet nicked somewhere along the way. Or maybe, got charged $20 so somebody could take a selfie or something like that. But I haven't seen any large scale improprieties, let's put it that way. And I just hope that I hope it stays that way. I really hope it stays that way. As the tournament moves along and continues to move into the latter stages, Canada and Mexico will stop hosting and it will become purely a U.S. affair, with the final being held in New York, New Jersey. And again, if you're not a soccer fan, I can't make you one. I mean, here's me right here. I can't make you one. I can try to teach you the game. It's a remarkably simple game. I can try to teach you the beauty of it, but I can't make you a fan. And my talking about the World Cup is not to try to make any of you fans if you're not. I can't make you a fan of something if you're not a fan of it already. But my reason for bringing it up is that I think we've seen some really beautiful moments, not just on the pitch, not just within the minutes of play, but in everything that surrounds it. And I think it's something to be to be a little bit hopeful about. Something that I think we can be, dare I even say, I think we might be able to be positive about. Fans, supporters from around the globe have seen the best of the United States. And the folks that have welcomed them have shown the best of what we can be. And I hope that it's something that lasts beyond this World Cup. Remember, some of these Western European nations, some of our own allies, had labeled the United States as a kind of an unsure destination, recommending their citizens to maybe not travel here because of the this regime, this Trump regime, and the way it was treating foreign visitors. But yet here we are with visitors from around the globe coming here and seeing the best of what we have to offer. And it is hopeful to me. And I hope hopeful to you, which grammatically probably wasn't correct for me to say it that way, but I hope that you are seeing some hope in it as well. 267-227-9189, 267-227-9189, 267-227-9189. The phone line is open. That was my big World Cup speech, so to speak. Quick programming note, we will in all likelihood not be with you next week. It is the 4th of July holiday. We generally don't do a program over the 4th of July holiday, except when the 4th of July falls like in the middle of a week or something like that, like on a Tuesday or Wednesday or Thursday or something. We generally don't do a program on the 4th of July weekend. You should be celebrating and spending time with family or doing whatever you wish, by the way. And this is, of course, the 250th. Randall asked me why there's no closed captioning. I haven't got a clue. That is something that you should be able to turn on your end. And for Facebook, generally speaking, the closed captioning is automatic. And I am looking at the Facebook feed right now, and you are correct. I don't see any. Oh no, closed captioning is automatic. I see closed captioning on my end, sir. I know that doesn't help you necessarily, but I am seeing closed caption on my side. So, great question. Sadly, I don't have an answer for you. I apologize. But the closed captioning on Facebook, generally speaking, is automatic. You don't even have to set it up. So I don't know. Why are you hitting me with technical questions when George isn't here? It's not fair. Don't hit me with technical questions that I can't answer when George isn't here. Not supposed to do that. It's not fair. But that's okay. We plow on. 25 minutes after the hour. 267-227-9, 267-227-9, 267-9189. We are ringing already. Let me see if I can answer. And speaker. Come on, phone. I love how it does that. And speaker. And go ahead. You can watch me fighting with my own phone. It's terribly entertaining.
Oh gosh!
You're calling early when isn't the family still there? You're calling early.
No. We've just got back on Friday from a week up our timeshares at Split Rock and the Poconos, and I wish it was going to be this coming week because it's going to be so outrageous. The humidity's already down here, and viewing land in the tri-state area, it's already extremely obnoxious. Like 80%. Like,
Yeah, if you're watching or listening from anywhere else in the country and you're not sure what Randall's referring to, we are expecting a heat wave this week with temperatures steadily increasing as the weekend goes on. And by Wednesday, Thursday, we are expected to be in the triple digits. It's going to be pretty oppressive. It's going to be pretty oppressive.
Because with the humidity, it's going to feel like 103, 105. But anyway, I just getting back to number one.
Have you paid attention to the heat wave that's going through Europe right now?
Oh my God!
Because they're
dying.
Yeah,
Paris, no air conditioning in Europe. Paris, it was the last time I had 47 people had died jumping in the river and canals in Paris to try and get cool, and they died from drowning. And that's not going to be. Do you remember? I think it was like 6 or 7 years ago, maybe longer. France lost like 10,000 people to a heat wave.
Yep. Yeah.
Like
they simply don't have air conditioning in Europe to the extent that we have it here in the United States, because previous to global climate change, they didn't need it. It wasn't necessary. Right. New construction has climate control, but some of the older construction, of course, doesn't, and they're simply not prepared for it. And it sounds a little silly, like how could a place as advanced as Western Europe not be ready for heat? But it's not the same thing. They haven't had a need to be prepared for it in the way that we've always prepared for it here in the United States. And
there's another factor on that. Mm-hmm. They don't have capacity to supply. If everybody got even just window air conditioners, none of the countries have electrical capacity to power air conditioners. That's another fact.
Yeah, Germany does. They create more solar electricity residentially than they can use. That's why they actually put a program in place to help people buy electric cars, to use the cars as storage units for
the power failure
for the overabundance of solar electricity that they were creating. But I understand what you're saying. It would definitely tax the grid somewhat. But yeah.
And so, we're in the same position here across the nation as our electric kilowatt hours go up in price due to all these ridiculous data AI storage powering warehouses across the country.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, Scandinavia countries, 40%. Everybody's going up to Scandinavian countries to beat the heat if they got money.
Yeah,
and 40% is from just Southern Europe, which would be Portugal and Spain and Southern France and Italy and on over. They're not in a good position, and the heat waves are also going on in Britain.
We should mention too that in I want to say it was the month of May, for the first time, the United States got more of its power from wind and solar than it did from fossil fuel generation.
Yeah, and yet the orange orangutan cut billions and billions. Hell, windmill farm off the coast of New Jersey. Was almost, and
yeah,
$2 billion has been wasted because he pulled it. You know, Kansas not just Kansas, the Plain States.
Yep.
North Texas, Oklahoma, Kansas, Nebraska, on up into the Dakotas. But specifically Kansas and Oklahoma. If they put solar power on every farm, it would not affect one iota crop growth. The problem out there is they don't. It would take a massive billions and billions and billions of dollars to build the infrastructure to transmit that power to where it's needed, to like cities. You follow me?
I do.
Okay. Anyway, getting back to FIFA. I can't remember what team was down at Phillies at the Union at Subaru Park in Chester here in Delaware County, PA.
Right.
I can't remember whose the home base was here. There's only certain cities in Canada and USA and in Mexico where they're playing the games, but there's cities all over that is where countries' teams were staying and practicing.
Yep.
Whether Kansas City is where they're having FIFA matches. Wichita, Kansas is not, but Wichita, Kansas being the largest city in Kansas, because Kansas City is really, there is a Kansas City, Kansas on the Kansas side of the Missouri River, but Kansas City that we all know is in Missouri.
Right.
On the Missouri side of the Missouri River. Anyway, I've been, obviously everything's going on down here. And our local news stations. Oh yeah.
Did you see the Croatian fans that crashed the wedding?
Oh yeah.
I thought it was brilliant. It was just brilliant. It was just joy, nothing but joy. And God bless that couple too for being lighthearted about it and kindhearted about it and not making a thing of it. But it was just, it's the most joyous thing. Oh, it was wonderful. Yeah, it was absolutely wonderful. It was wonderful.
Yep.
What else did you want to mention quick?
Oh, okay. When I was talking about, local TV stations.
Yeah.
WSPN, which is Channel 6 in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, is directly owned by Disney.
Yep.
And we only got, I think, like 10 days left to write to the FCC.
Yep.
Because they want to, because ABC is not playing along like the conglomerates that have bought NBC and the conglomerate MAGA billionaire that bought
CNN.
CBS. Yeah. I mean, it's politics. It's strictly pure partisan politics. And 6 ABC here in Philadelphia is the most watched for news. But, it's got more people watching it than the local CBS or NBC stations or Fox stations. Anyway, I want to talk about that because that's hitting. You can get.
But it's close to home.
You can get 60 ABC up in Bethlehem, right?
Oh, absolutely. Yep. And
Yeah,
I've seen it.
Okay.
I've seen the ads that they run.
Because the viewing area is, the tri-state, but it goes up to the Lehigh Valley, and of course, Bethlehem and Allentown are in the Lehigh Valley.
Absolutely.
Anyway, I want to talk about the bicentennial, the 250th. There's no there's absolutely no way that it will be as great as the bicentennial in Philadelphia and around the nation. Because one reason is because of Trump and his MAGA administration shenanigans. But the other reason is they just like, I can't tell you how many concerts I went to at the old JFK Stadium in Philadelphia. And of course, that's where in '85 they had the U.S. side of Live Aid. And the reason they picked JFK Stadium in Philadelphia, well, there's two reasons. There was one, logistics.
Size.
It was smack in the middle of the Eastern Seaboard. People from Boston and New York and Baltimore and Washington and, could come in. But it was the biggest stadium. It would hold 100,000, well, with the field, 120,000 people for a concert. And that summer, man, oh my gosh. Yes. U2, David Bowie, The Who. It was an incredible summer for concerts in Philly. And there's a lot of great concerts going on, but nothing like what was happening for the bicentennial.
Right.
And
did you see the what's supposed to be the national fair? How first off, Pennsylvania has no representation, but secondly, they're literally like thousands of people are showing up compared to the tens or hundreds of thousands they were expecting. The opening day hosted roughly 1,000 people.
The opening day, people waiting a couple hours was just in the hundreds.
It's just you can't
pathetic.
You can't make it up.
Nope, can't make it up.
No, you can't make it up.
And our crooked Democratic U.S. senator here in PA had the ever since he went to Mar-a-Lago in December of 2024. I keep thinking of that scene from the movie Network where Biddles called in to the CEO of the network and said it's all for profit.
Yeah, it's we definitely got sold the bill of goods on that one, didn't we?
Yep, we definitely did. That's, in my opinion, that's the only mistake I've ever done supporting for the November election and voting for. Because I did not support him in the PA primary.
Right.
I can't remember the gentleman. He's still a state rep from Philly.
Malcolm Kenyatta.
I can't. Bingo. There you go. That's who I voted for in the PA primary. But
how are you feeling?
He fooled everybody. He was a progressive.
Yeah, he did.
He's absolutely not a progressive, and he gets most of his big money from the Jewish Israel
AIPAC.
Yes. And, everybody's screaming about these progressives winning. Oh, it's too left. It's too radical. You know what? One of the big things the progressives is, including myself, not one dime goes for any weapons, in the future for Israel, because of Israel's genocide in Gaza and his war against Lebanon.
Well, your timing is impeccable, because let me see if I can find. Okay, hold on one second.
Okay,
come on. From the Associated Press, dated today, The article is by Wafa Sharafa, and I hope I'm saying the name right. Headline: Israel strikes and shelling in Gaza kill at least 4 Palestinians, health workers say. Deir al-Balah Gaza Strip. Israel strikes across the Gaza Strip on Sunday killed at least 4 Palestinians, including a 13-year-old girl, local health officials said. The first strike targeted a group of people in northern Gaza's Beit Lahiya, killing 2 and wounding another, according to the Palestinian Red Crescent Society. Another strike in southern Gaza killed a man, according to health officials at the Nasser hospital. And the 13-year-old girl was killed by shrapnel from Israeli tank shelling in southern Gaza, according to that same hospital. The Israeli military did not immediately respond to a request for comment on the strikes, but said one of them targeted a Hamas terrorist without elaborating. Palestinians on Sunday reported heavy tank shelling across Gaza and quadcopters, a type of unmanned aerial vehicle, buzzing overhead.
And we know, in one way or another, Israel's prime minister, Netanyahu, has to keep a war going, because as long as there is a war going, he cannot be tried for his criminal behavior. Right?
That is correct. He cannot be tried for his multiple counts of corruption, bribery, embezzlement, and the myriad of other crimes that he is being accused of and is being passively tried on, because once Israel entered a state of war, all of his court cases were frozen. But the minute that stops, his trials will resume. And he's running for another term, by the way.
He just keeps a perpetual war going on and on and on.
And he's running for another term.
Yeah, I know. Well, the problem in Israel is the radical right-wing Jewish population there. They don't believe in birth control. They have a zillion children. The liberals, if you will, all came from U.S. and European descent in the late 20th century to the present. And they're warmongers because they want the land.
Yep. And they're going to get it.
I got Palestinian friends from college that grew up in Bethlehem, and they were driven out. And I got friends, Christian Lebanese. In fact, one of my brother-in-laws is a Christian Lebanese here in PA. His mother and his brother are still living in Beirut. And I don't care how precise bombings or artillery or missiles, it's hitting the Christian enclaves in Beirut. Mm-hmm. And it's, here we go. And it's genocide. It's men, women, and children are being killed by Israel. End of story. And but he's got another war going.
Yes, he does.
Yeah.
As soon as there was a ceasefire in southern Lebanon, he started bombing Gaza again. So,
yep. He doesn't want to go on trial.
Nope. No, why would he want to go to jail for the rest of his life?
His cabinet's all right-wing warmongers.
Well, I would suppose I would hazard a guess he's sharing a little bit of the money with them as well.
Oh yeah,
that's just my opinion.
I'm sure, just like Trump is sharing the money.
Yeah.
The reason, again, I put it in the comments. Trump and his MAGA administration are not doing anything with ICE or Border Patrol because they are spending billions and billions and billions of dollars here in the States. The bans are, and it's all businesses and corporations owned by the billionaires.
Yep. All right, let me give somebody else a shot here, my friend. Let's see if anybody else calls in.
If not, I'll come back later.
You're never afraid to do it. We gotta teach everybody else it doesn't hurt a bit.
I mean, I know I'm an extrovert, but I don't understand people. It's like, oh my God, they're going to pull a gun on me for calling in.
Oh gosh, no. All right. Thank you so much. Take care of yourself too, by the way. Take care of yourself. 267-227-9189, 267-227-9189, 267-227-9189. We're expecting Pastor Clinton to stop and say hello. She is on screen, but not on screen all at the same time. Her studio is on screen. She is off screen. So we will wait. I'll wait for her to come back in. Taz says, are they doing nothing, or are they doing exactly what they intended? I think one has to be pretty. The timing or lack of timing with ICE and ICE activity during this World Cup is pretty suspect. Why does this thing insist? I am trying to get the speaker to go. Go ahead, caller, you're on. How are you?
I am doing fabulous.
Aren't you always?
Thank you. How should I say?
What's on your mind this week?
Oh, what's on my mind this week?
Or what's on your mind for the program anyway?
I think that pedos are more protected than trying to fix the dang swamp.
Say that one more time. You lost me. I got to admit.
Okay. Anyone that goes near or touches the reflecting swamp gets 50 years.
Okay. I got you. All right. Sorry. Okay, yeah. Sorry. I misunderstood you.
Yeah.
You can get in more trouble touching the reflecting pool than you can touching a kid.
Yeah.
Yeah. You're not kidding.
But as a person with a pool, when there's something wrong and the water's turning green, the first thing you do is check the filters, check the piping.
Shock the water.
Shock the water. Hello, shock the monkey. But when that pool was built, and it was built, I think, 60 years ago, 50, 60 years ago.
See, the thing with the reflecting pool is not just about the reflecting pool itself. It's an allegory.
But he broke the pool because he drove on the dang thing.
Well,
actually, the biggest problem with the reflecting pool is because for his big UFC Freedom 250, the nano bubbles.
There's a lot of things going on with that pool.
He said on the record that the nano bubbles weren't aesthetically pleasing, so he had them removed, and the reflecting pool was originally constructed in the 1920s.
Okay, Chaz, we cannot hear you.
Well, you can't because of the way the phone system works. Everybody else out in Radio Land can hear her. You can't because of my lack of phone system. But here's the reflecting pool the reflecting pool in and of itself is not the problem. It is a problem. It is not the problem. What it is an allegory. It's an allegory for everything that this man touches turns to shit.
Okay,
that's what it is. It's not about. You probably could have painted it 1,000 different colors, including the one he chose. If you'd had a competent company that did it, it probably actually would have come out pretty nicely. The bottom line is that no work needed to be done to it in the first place. He found a way to siphon off $20 million to a buddy. But even if that work had been done correctly for $20 million, it's an allegory for everything that he touches. Everything that he let's remember, this is a man who bankrupted a casino.
This is a man who bankrupted. He didn't just bankrupt a casino. He bankrupted a city worth of casinos.
When a place where you walk in and voluntarily hand over your money and still somehow bankrupted it. So this is just, it's not, yes, it's embarrassing. Yes, you're correct. People are being arrested for taking pieces of paint off of the reflecting pool. Yes, they killed the ducks because they dumped it all full of hydrogen peroxide, which also helped the paint peel, by the way, because you don't put peroxide on paint. Peroxide is a paint stripper. It's
we need to get language proper. That is not paint that was on that pool. That was truck liner. That was Rhino truck liner.
Well, the peroxide ate it.
Oh, yeah.
Or even if they didn't,
and then I told my wife what they did. She's like, that's gonna degrade.
Right.
Because when you
even if they wouldn't have poured the hydrogen peroxide in there, the biggest problem is chlorine.
Right.
You put chlorine, and you put peroxide together. You're gonna get some fumes going on.
You got it.
You're gonna get fumes going on. Now you've got this polyurethane thing in there. Oh yeah, fun times.
Yeah, but
all right, thank you, Annabelle. Let me talk to Taz here. It's plus the way the phone works, she can't hear you and you can't hear her.
No,
I know. I don't have the right phone system. I never got the right phone system set up with this. It doesn't let me do it, so she can't hear.
But what I want to let you go is one sentence.
All right, real quick.
They knew 50, 60 years ago that they were going to have to change the piping system, because I guarantee you they got lead pipes all through that thing. And when I bought my home, the first thing that the inspector said is that all these pipings got to be changed. None of it was up to code. So yes, that piping system has to be updated.
You got it.
But anyway, I'll let you go. I got to hear what
Thank you, my dear.
So do you. Bye.
Thank you.
Thank you.
There we go. Thank you, Taz, for being patient.
No problem. But few quick points of contention. Whether they put peroxide in that pool or not, the reflecting pool was built in the 1920s. It's granite. It's not porous. It was never meant to be painted. Let's not forget. And because it was originally constructed in the 1920s, first of all, in the 1920s, they weren't thinking that we were going to have the technology that we have now. And so a lot of things did need to be changed and updated and upgraded. But that goes for a lot of the piping systems throughout the United States. We need to take this opportunity with the reflecting pool. You're absolutely right, Jeff, that it is reflective, pun intended, of the Trump administration.
Pun fully intended.
Right. But also we need to take this moment and expand it to the conversation of our water quality here in the United States and how much of it does need to be upgraded. Not just for a pool that nobody really gets into, but the water that pumps into our houses in many of these cities.
Right. But that's not profitable.
No, it's not.
It's not.
I agree with you. Is that?
Yeah.
Well, here's the thing. Technicality, you can make anything profitable and you can make an argument for profitability. And I've thought about this. I've thought about this because If you increase the quality of water, that means that you can slightly increase the quality of health. The quality of health that's increased is the quality of health of your workers and your consumers, because we play a duality. If we are healthier, we can work more. If we work more, we have more money. If we have more money, we spend more. So, hey, top 1%, give us better water and we can spend more money with you. We won't. But we could. We won't. But we could.
We know the answers to the problems because we've done them before. It's simply having the political will to do them yet again when it's most important.
Oh, Bella. Yeah, Bella, in the comments, he drove over it with his whole motorcade before they were even done painting. They weren't done painting, and the paint was already beginning to come off of it during the course of them painting it, because once again, you need a porous surface to paint over. Otherwise, even when it comes down to your fingernails, they tell you to buff your fingernails before you paint them. Other than that, put your hands in water and you can slide the paint right off. It's no different. Yeah, you're right, Randall. That's what I was saying before. Trump bankrupted Atlantic City, New Jersey. He didn't just bankrupt one casino, he bankrupted a city's worth of it. He's horrible. First of all, the Trump organization started off being called Mary Trump and Sons. The Trump family period did not become profitable until the women stepped up. Trump technically was profitable when Ivana Trump was working with him. Then he booted her out and divorced her. This is why she took her divorce settlement and lived the life that Trump thought he would be living. The next time he truly started to turn a profit is when Ivanka came of age and came into the position. And if you look into the court documents from his Manhattan fraud case, he got a little bit of profiting because he runs everything through Melania Trump. And this is why he's looking at his daughters-in-law, plural, for the next iteration of the Trump family business. And the new Trump family business is politics. This is why Don Jr. is like, oh, let me say that I'm going into politics so dad can look at me. Because I don't know if y'all noticed or not, but Junior and Senior are at odds. They're not seeing eye to eye to the point where they're not showing up for each other.
He skipped the wedding.
But then took Junior's daughter, Kai, to the NBA Finals. Yeah, there's something going on there.
Yeah, mentioned in the chat that his first wife is buried on the golf course. I wonder what else is buried with her, to be honest.
I don't think that there's anything buried with it. That was more of a tax shelter move. And the family can save money on burying one another in the future because they really don't care about each other. But he got it officially, that portion designated as a cemetery, so that saves money. And too many people have forgotten when Trump, during his diatribe about dying a few months ago, he doesn't believe anybody is coming to his memorial. And by anybody, I'm talking about his family members, because he even said that Junior will more than likely be on a safari when it's time for his memorial.
Have you ever seen the safaris that he goes on to, by the way?
Mm-hmm.
The staged slaughter.
That's why everybody was shocked when he actually, with his own quote unquote skill, shot an endangered bird in Italy. What was it, 2-3 years ago? And got in trouble by the Italian authorities because we were like, oh, you can actually hit stuff? We didn't think you could. Okay.
We are at the top of the hour. This is the Kennedy Effect live with you for the June 28th, 2026. We are already at the end of June with the 4th of July holiday right around the corner. It is anniversary week here at GCPR. We are live right now on the Facebook pages of Ghost Claw Productions, Ghost Claw Entertainment, Hot101.net, and Our Revolution Pennsylvania. We are live right now on the Facebook group that is dedicated to this show, or the show dedicated to the group. Really it's the other way around. The show dedicated to you all in the group. the Kennedy Effect on Facebook, plus the over 100 other places we have shared the show across the Facebook universe this evening. We are live right now on 2 YouTube channels. The YouTube channel of GCPR, Ghost Claw Productions Radio. Go to YouTube, go to the search, type in Ghost Claw Productions Radio, and you will find us. And of course, the Kennedy Effect on YouTube. The audio of the program blasts around the globe via 2 global internet radio stations. One, of course, hot101.net, one of the originators, he tried to say. Easy for me to say, or not so much. One of the originators of global internet radio stations, hot101.net. Our name is our web address. Apple App Store for Apple devices, Google Play Store for Android devices, and the Tune In Radio app. You can also tell Alexa to play hot101.net. GCPR, Ghost Claw Productions Radio, celebrating our 2nd anniversary this week. Ghost Claw Productions Radio, gcpr.live. You can go to our website and listen there for free as well. Also learn everything you ever wanted to know about the station and more. There will be a quiz later, so you're going to want to go study up. Apple App Store, Google Play Store, and the Tune In Radio app as well for GCPR. Following us from around 8:30, 8:45, pre-show for The Villain's View. Full Throttle live from 9 p.m. Conversations with T. Nathan from 11. And Thomas kicks off your broadcast work week tomorrow morning from 8 a.m. Eastern Time with the sound of coffee. Following us on hot101.net, the music returns. We are currently not scheduled to be with you next week because of the 4th of July holiday, but please stay tuned just in case anything changes. And then we will see you 5. Sunday is the 5th and 7 is the 12th on July 12th. Taz, thanks for dropping in, by the way, for our celebration, as the celebration informally kicks off here on the Kennedy Effect, because in addition to being in a celebratory mood, there is still news and there is still politics to digest and dissect. But what has been on your mind this week? What has been driving you this week? Or is there so much?
there is so
There's
much.
Always a flood. There's always a flood of things.
There is always a flood. But in covering the ever expanding trajectory of the Epstein/Maxwell files, the new information coming out from their cabinet members of the current Trump administration, well, the Trump regime, that's what they are, taking pride in getting content creators' pages temporarily taken down has been interesting. The Carmelo Anthony case and possibly a new trial coming from that has been quite interesting, and a driving force as well. And the multitude of lost litigation for Trump has tickled my fancy. So
we didn't necessarily think that I think there was a lot of trepidation going into this 2.0 that the courts would be able to stand up and save us, given the record amount of judges that Trump was able to get appointed in his first term. But yet here we are. How do you explain that?
Well, Trump doesn't really look for qualifications. Trump looks for how someone is registered to vote, and he automatically assumes that means that they will be loyal to him and not their chosen career paths. And that has been a stick in the mud for him. And it's also been a bit of shock and awe for him. He thought everyone would be like Judge Cannon, and everyone is not. These are people who, the road of a judiciary career is not an easy one, and it's not a cheap one. This is a road that people aren't going to really stick their neck out and go, yeah, I really want to be censured, or I really want to be disbarred. And when people started to realize after the conclusion of his first administration that there's no get out of jail safeguard with him, no matter how many voice notes, voicemails, emails, text messages, videos that you have, you could still lose your license. So now people are like, you know what? I'm going to stick to the letter of the law. I am going to stay as close to the Constitution as possible. And from a judicial standpoint, this administration, it's becoming quite clear to people that Trump is insane and he's dying, and he has an egregious bucket list. And they're like, no, we're not going to check boxes off of this bucket list for him because we have to live with the consequences. And once he passes away or gets rolled out of office in a wheelchair, I don't know which one is going to happen, there's no way for him to shield anybody from consequences. Trump is officially a lame duck president. There are no more elections left for him to run, let alone win. He has no control over anything or anyone. He's legitimately on an experimental weight loss drug to keep his heart pumping. So the courts, they're not afraid of him anymore. The judges, they're not afraid of him anymore. And there's no more appointments for him to bribe people with. And the general public, although far too many are still stupid, people are educating themselves, realizing that a lifetime appointment isn't literally a lifetime appointment, and anyone that is hired can be fired. Impeachment is not just for the president. And nobody goes to school for all those years, racks up all that debt, hope, prayers, and solid records to get a judgeship, to lose it all for somebody who can't remember who's his daughter and who's not.
Do you find the story of I'm not going to name her here, the 39-year-old assistant, some of the notes that have come out?
Oh, the 34-year-old? Oh, yeah.
It's
I
baffling.
knew something was up.
It's baffling.
I knew something was up. If you remember back to the Manhattan fraud case, okay, the human printer, there were jokes about her back then. She was the one that was carrying around the actual printer, because I said something like, they have portable printers. Why doesn't she just use that? And I think because looking at the aesthetic, there is an aesthetic that Trump likes to have around him. It's not an aesthetic that he will marry anymore, but it's the OG aesthetic of how his first two wives looked. He likes that eugenics aesthetic. She knows how to stroke his ego without having to stroke him. And it keeps her employed. And she's employed in a way where she can make connections and kind of gain some power in the inner circles without anybody really knowing who she is until now. And the only reason we truly know who she is now, because most people forgot about her during the trial, is because her estranged brother is so disgusted by her, he spoke up. And he's even said that she and her mother are estranged from the rest of the family ever since their father ended his own existence. So I truly believe it, because she's figured it out. The only other woman that has infiltrated Trump's inner circle and figured out how to manipulate him from the inside out that quickly was Melania Trump. Alina Habba tried it. Caroline Leavitt has tried it. Tulsi Gabbard tried it. Kristi Noem tried it. So many have tried it. But this young lady, she's figured it out. And she picked up where Cassidy Hutchinson dropped off. She filled the void that Cassidy Hutchinson left in Trump's life. Trump likes to believe that he is influential in a young woman's life. Just like Hope. Hope was the last one that he had that close and would, whisper sweet nothings and nice things to him and leave him little notes. But when she testified against him in court, he had to let her go, even though you could tell it pained him to do it. She filled a void. He needs someone, because societally, we always talk about daddy issues in women. Trump has excruciating mommy issues, and he needs a woman figure to tell him that he's doing good. He really, really needs it. And that's what this young lady gives him. I don't think it's anything salacious or sexual, but it's that ego boost. It's that woman figure telling him that he's great and giving him a pat on the back. She's essentially stepping up to be his boy mom.
Mm. I'm not even sure sometimes how to react to some of it.
Yeah, and sometimes in society, the way that we're conditioned, a lot of people push immediately for things to be explicit and sexual in that way. And it's like, no, people can have influence over other people or have inappropriate relationships that are not sexual in nature or sexual based. But we should be very, very concerned that we have a president that in his first term was heavily influenced by Fox News and now is heavily influenced by young women many, many decades, his minor. We went from Laura Loomer to this young lady.
And they all do have a bit of a look too, don't they? It's not by accident. It's not by accident. He does. There's been a lot made about how Pete Hegseth has purged both women and people of color throughout the Department of Defense. But the women that are around do have a bit of a look.
They do have a bit of a look, and they have more. Pete Hegseth is another one that the women in his life have a lot more power. And yes, he has stalled promotions. He's purged, but he's also purged a lot of white men as well. And not enough people are focused on that. Just like Donahue, that he just recently forced out. They're trying not to call it a firing, but essentially that's what it is. Pete Hegseth has gone on the record multiple times stating that he doesn't like authority, even though he is now the authority. He's like, oh, he has this disdain for the bureaucracy, for bureaucrats, but he's now the bureaucrat. And
he is the bureaucrat.
He likes to be the one that seems like he's bucking the system, and he's viewing everybody else as the system and not himself. I don't think he really gets that he's the head. He is the head of the system. And he's trying to get rid of all these people. And also, he said, again, on the record, he doesn't believe that war crimes are real. So anybody that talks to him about war crimes, he wants to get rid of. And he thinks like, oh, yeah, if I get rid of them and act like this definition doesn't exist, I can never be tried for war crimes. That's not how that works. I wish, because if that was the case, then I would definitely pretend that calories don't exist.
You and all the rest of us. Sugar? I don't define it that way.
Pesky thing.
Yeah, exactly.
I would have the greatest health ever.
Muffins are a food group.
Right.
Right, exactly. How have you been breaking down and explaining to your audiences this week what the Supreme Court did regarding Haitian immigrants?
I like to use the simplest language possible. I know people like to talk about misinformation, disinformation. We break it down to lies and truths. And I started by explaining that, one, there are immigrants that are just as melanated as me that will look you in the face and tell you that they're not Black, that have been trying to tell people that this isn't a race issue. It very much so is. I also have been explaining to people, stop denigrating SCOTUS as a whole, because there are associate justices that are fighting for our civil liberties. They are fighting to adhere to the Constitution. They're just outvoted. And we do need to expand the Supreme Court if we're not going to, as a people, come together and demand the impeachment of the three, at least, that we have verifiable impeachable offenses on. But basically, I keep reminding people that this is yet another litmus test. What they've done to Haitian immigrants, once the public normalizes it and makes excuses to make it seem okay, it's going to expand to everyone else. Melanated individuals in this country have always historically been the litmus test. We are not the final goal for discrimination or oppression. We are just what's used to get society as a whole to be okay with tyranny again. And you also have to, and I always tell my audience, everything that happens is just another piece of a jigsaw puzzle. You got to put all the pieces on the table and start putting them together, and always look at them as you get a new piece and put it in there, because people also forgot that on a lot of forms through multiple agencies, they're starting to break down whiteness. Before they were like, oh, are you white, non-Hispanic, white, or whatever? Now they're like, oh, are you of German descent? Are you of skin? Because they're going to start reducing the umbrella of whiteness. In this case, before SCOTUS and how it was decided, they're going to start reversing. You're going to start, if it doesn't stop, to get those signs of no, this, and this. And you can't be here, you can't be here, you can't be here. People are too pigeonholed on, oh, it's just the Haitians, it's just the Haitians. It's never just anybody.
It's a start.
Mm-hmm. And Annabelle, I know we love to say that this is what they voted for, but it's not. It's not. They voted for hate for thee and not for me. I say this a lot, and I'm going to say it here. The target of racism is rarely hit, but the ricochets never miss their target. And that target truly is those that think that they're in control of the beast. If you don't train a dog properly, that dog can turn on you, and that's what racism is. They did not vote for this. They did not vote for what is happening because they thought in their mind they would get like some type of membership card that they could flash around, or a pin that they could wear that would show, oh, I'm the good one. I voted for MAGA. You got to give me all the benefits and not them. Listen to how they speak. They speak as if in their city, there's no independence. There's no temperance party. There's no libertarian party. And yes, the temperance party still exists, y'all. There's no pink party. There's no green party. There's just Republicans. I only work with Republicans. First of all, the Republican Party is a collection of factions that don't even like one another. There are Republicans that don't even recognize other Republicans because in their mind, if they're a conservative Republican, that's all they are. But even the conservatism inside the Republican Party is broken down into many different factions. So they didn't vote for that. They voted for them being protected. And this is why they're having so much cognitive dissonance right now. And they're choosing to bury their head in the sand and go, no, he can't be hurting me. He can't be hurting me, because they can't accept and admit that some of them have lost their jobs or have had to take pay cuts, that they've lost their insurance, that they can't afford gas, that they're no longer cooking at home because they live in cities where all of their heating is gas related and they don't have another option, or they can't afford their electric bill or their water bill, or their water is so the water quality is so piss poor and they can't afford to go buy gallons upon gallons of water. They can't afford to eat inside the house or at a restaurant. They don't want to admit it.
Is there a less used to our detriment? Has there been a less effectively used section of the Constitution than Article 3, Section 2?
I think the most least used aspect, and it's an aspect of the Constitution, is actually the guidelines around the Constitution. And that is, we were to revisit it every 15 to 20 years to update it along with society. It's not so much the amendments that are less used. It's the care. It's the instructions. It's It's the rules that were left for the babysitter when mom and dad went out for date night. That's the problem, that aren't being used properly, that aren't being adhered to. Because I think we should have far more amendments than we have now.
Have you any faith that should the Democrats take control of Congress, albeit Trump will still be in the White House, that they will, regardless of that, use Article 3, Section 2 to oversee these courts? I think most Americans are under the impression that once you reach the Supreme Court, that's pretty much it. That's the end of it. And that the Supreme Court itself is somehow this autonomous body subject to no regulation whatsoever, when the Constitution clearly states that Congress shall regulate the courts. So establish and regulate.
Mm-hmm. I have very little confidence in any current politician and any candidate. And the reason why is we the people. And I say that because far too many of us pick candidates like the stereotype of the girlfriend of an avid football enthusiast who accidentally wins fantasy football because she chose according to the color of the uniforms. We have become a society that we think that a politician is qualified because they're married, because they have kids, because they served in the military, because they dress a certain way, because they have some snappy one-liners, instead of actually looking to see if people are qualified and if they know what can be utilized to help us. So I don't see very much changing. I wish that I could, but I don't. And far too many people don't want to be public servants anymore because we the people aren't making them be that. It's a power grab. I don't foresee anyone, Democrat, Republican, Independent, on the federal level really making any changes. I don't. And the ones that would have were primaried or just gave up because, again, we're not asking people to fulfill their job descriptions. So I honestly don't believe that they're going to do what's needed. They're going to make excuses and go, well, Trump is ingrained up in here, because they never intended to. Politics is, Capitol Hill is the new Hollywood. Hollywood went from Florida to California to Capitol Hill. It's all about performance, wardrobe, and who has the biggest fan base, and not really actually getting the job done. Yep. It's not even about getting the job done. So I don't have any confidence in them. I have been calling for we the people to reach out to our representatives and get impeachments and removals rolling since his first administration. And people have all these excuses. And I'm like, you have all these excuses, folks, until somebody gets your fryer order wrong at McDonald's, and then you have no problem making a big hullabaloo. They lose one button off of your favorite shirt at the local dry cleaners, and you're on a campaign to get that dry cleaner shut down, but you won't stand up for your own rights. We sit and talk about South Korea thwarting martial law and impeaching and removing their president, but we won't do the same here. We talk about
in record time, by the way.
And we talk about Italy. The Italian government was like, oh, we're going to take this from you. And Italy said, no, we're going to shut down this country, but we won't do it here. We watched France shut down everything and impeccably protest, but everybody's here's like, oh, I can't afford to do this. And if we all do it, there's nothing to lose and there's nothing for you to afford. You're so afraid, but you love wearing the moniker that we're the biggest, baddest to ever do it. Prove it. You can't complain about living in tyranny when you won't stand up to the tyranny. We're a country that every given minute, on and offline, you can find somebody talking about how proud they are that they match energy. I don't see any energy being matched.
Have I ever shared with you my plan for the Supreme Court?
Ooh, no, do tell.
I would like to see 39 justices. But every time a case comes before the Supreme Court, 9 justices are picked out of a hat. So you never know which out of the 39 you're going to get.
Yeah, I really like that.
And Congress could do that with simple legislation. It doesn't take an act. It doesn't take a constitutional amendment. The Constitution doesn't have to be changed in any way, shape, or form, because Congress shall establish and regulate the courts. So 39 Supreme Court justices, but every time they accept a case and arguments are ready to begin on that case, 9 names are picked out of a hat. And those are the 9 that will hear that case. And the other 30, you're on the sideline.
I do. I like that. Randall, I didn't say that everyone was corrupt. I didn't even use that verbiage. I didn't. And I didn't put the onus on the politicians. I put the onus on us, where I do believe that that's where it resides. And I'm putting myself in that bucket also. As diligent as we can be in some aspects, we have to admit that there are other aspects where we drop the ball. Now, where I drop the ball may not be the same place that you dropped the ball. But if we're going to ask politicians to be accountable, we have to be accountable for our missteps, and we have to work and help each other fix them. It's like I found out that in this last race to POTUS Mountain, that I had some friends and family members that registered but did not go out to vote. Have I been talking to them and working with them and re-explaining to them what the importance is? Yes. And we have some solid plans where I can help ensure that they make it to the polls, even for the midterms. I work with people to get around, them believing that they can't do certain things, and showing them that we don't have to do it the way things were done in the 1980s. But we all have to take responsibility for our slice of community and where we fall short. Didn't say anybody was corrupt at all. But I believe I can't point the finger at you if I can't take the finger being pointed at me, and if I can't point it at myself. I believe my biggest rule in life is that I will never ask of somebody else what I can't give. And I can't ask for other people to be held accountable if I can't hold myself accountable.
Former Labor Secretary Robert Reich posted earlier today, it's no longer left versus right or even Democrat versus Republican. It's now democracy versus oligarchy, freedom versus dictatorship, right versus wrong. Millions are awakening to this new reality, and they're speaking up. The sleeping giant of America is roaring. Is he right or is he wrong?
I believe he's absolutely right. And I'd also like to say that this is also a fight between desiring education versus desiring stupidity. Now, some people will say, but Taz, willful ignorance. If you're choosing ignorance, that's stupidity. It's a choice. Ignorance isn't. You can't help what you don't know, but you can help when you find out and you choose not to know, because we are reverting back to a period of time when things were very egregious, and it was egregious because of a lack of intellect. And we need to reconcile that. Plus, you can't fight what you don't realize you need to fight. And a lot of why current protesting isn't working is because people think that they're coming up with new ideas, and they're not. They're regurgitating ideas that we already know historically failed or need to work in conjunction with other things. I try to remind people that yes, protesting is great, but protesting is supposed to be a distraction while other folks lobby and legislate and litigate. You need the lobbying, the legislation, and the litigating to go in conjunction. Because if you protest, one business may change, a handful of people may change, but you need the laws to change. Yeah, Randall, I agree. We do need to be an informed voter. And that's one thing that for many, many years, when it came to major elections, I used to do series across multiple social media platforms. It started off in person, more localized when I was in Kentucky. And this time around, I had to take accountability that I didn't provide as much information as I had done in the past, where I would break down, those running for federal office and give people a good solid starting point for their own research if they had, certain ballot issues that, affected them more than others. And I didn't do that this time. So when I say we the people, I don't want anybody to think that I'm wagging my finger at other folks. No, we the people, we all kind of messed up here. We all dropped some balls.
Is the media that you and I are doing right now, GCPR is doing, that Hot 101 allows us to do, is this part of the awakening? Or has it spurred the awakening in some way, I should say?
I believe it's the next step of the awakening. I think that the awakening was already started. The awakening just didn't have a garden to flourish in. And I think we provide that garden. We provide that starting place for roots to set in.
Okay.
And start that underground network.
As opposed to being the I just thought of a stupid joke, as opposed to being the fertilizer or the manure.
Well, honestly, I was kind of thinking the same thing. I was thinking, like, how do I say this?
without it sounding that way.
A cheesy dad joke, but
yeah, exactly.
I was thinking the same thing.
Yeah, it could have gone sideways. Oh gosh, yeah, that could have been taken. I wonder why I thought of it that way. That's craziness.
I'll say it like this. Me and the guys from the Villain's View, we're talking about the movie Avatar. And I also said this to somebody earlier today. The tree, that tree of life. The roots are deep, the roots are long, the roots have created a whole underground network. Now, you could cut the tree and replant it, but you have to be careful where you replant it. There was a solid network before. That's over and gone. The tree, it's been replanted in our garden, and we just got to take care of it and help it flourish and grow.
Hostilities restarted yesterday with strikes from both Iran and the United States. Is this a restart to this war, or does it show us that this war was never over to start with?
It was never over. It was
When's the last time in our history that the United States lost a war in 8 weeks? I don't think ever. Is there any other way to take it that we've lost this war?
Oh, we've definitely lost this war. But here's the thing. At the beginning, I could have told you this war was lost by us. And the reason why is because if you look at history, the United States can't fight. And I know some people get upset when I say that. Former and current military. This is not a personal dig on you, but we can't fight. And historically, we've proven that we can't fight. We jump into fights when it's darn near over and won, and we just kick them while they're down and go, yay, we're the victors. And when we've started wars, we've generally had to bribe other people to come in because we've historically been against diversity, but it's the diversity that has allowed us to be victorious. Even when we're in the wrong, It's the diversity that's allowed us to be victorious. I knew we were going to lose. I knew we were going. Yeah, no, we have to stop. We're like the bully that the internet was made for. Because I remember I was in high school and there was we didn't even go to the same school, but we ended up on the same bus in the afternoon. Um, and she would talk a big game and try to intimidate people. And I guess she thought she was successfully bullying me. She didn't realize I could just turn my hearing aids off. I couldn't hear. But there was one time she took it too far. Somebody stood up to her and she got beat up. That's the United States. The United States is the bully that the internet was made for. Talk a good game online when nobody can see you and nobody can track. Well, you think nobody can track you down. But face to face, we can't do nothing. Because if somebody sneezes too hard next to us, we're folding. Randall, protesting in the streets does do something. That's why I say it just has to be in conjunction, and we should tax the rich. We taxed the rich up until Reagan, and things were a lot better all the way around for a multitude of people. When we stopped taxing the rich and allowed the rich to take part in all of these loopholes, we're losing more and more of the benefits that we pay into and they barely pay into. I don't know about you, but I don't think that it's fair that so many people, even these immigrants, that people are like, oh, they shouldn't benefit from anything, but they should pay so I can have it. The rich are the ones not paying into stuff, and these wealthy people will draw Social Security. They will apply for it and draw Social Security, Medicare, and Medicaid when they have the liquidity to just pay for these things out of pocket for themselves. They're not hurting to pay bills. But you have people who truly, truly need the income. And if they get married, or if they work too many hours, or if their family leaves them a little bit of money, they can't, that they're cut completely off. So yeah, it does make a difference. And what ticks me off are that the people who backed Reagan on this crap that are still walking around to this day lie to folks about what they agreed to, about what they convinced other people to agree to. These are the same people that are telling us, yeah, I worked minimum wage and bought a house and went to school. What? You mean when everything was $5.95, when you could still go to Sears and Roebuck's and get a house kit and put that house together on some land that you paid $2.75 per acre for? Yeah, no. And we also have to realize in the United States, there are multiple realities happening at one time. My United States as a Black queer woman is going to be different than Jeff's experience in the United States. His experience is going to be different than Donna's. Donna's experience is going to be different than yours, Randall. It's going to be, and Randall, yours is going to be different than Annabelle's, and so on and so forth. Because there is intersectionality, but there's still segregation and division, and how you are looked at, how you are perceived, and the generation that you come from. Because there are things that I've lived through that I know for a fact how they happen. And there's people, even my children, that didn't live through it, that don't know those things. You know how easy it would be for me to lie to them, which would make their lives even harder with them not knowing the truth and trying to repeat things that we already know isn't going to work? But yes, protesting works. You just have to protest in conjunction with things. And taxing the rich absolutely should be done. Why do I need to be taxed higher than somebody who makes 100-fold what I do?
Or 1,000-fold, really. Jefferson and Madison themselves, two of the framers themselves, fought for a progressive tax system. And it's not called a progressive tax system by accident either. We spent the last live program, a lot of it, about Mr. Musk and the fact that he reached a status until now unseen in the history of mankind. He became, in the history of humanity, he became a trillionaire. He's worth $1 trillion.
And then less than 2 weeks later, he lost it.
Yeah, that may have fallen back from that, but the fact that that such a status was gained in the first place says what to you My premise was, and is still to this program now, humanity has achieved a great many things. Fire, the wheel, we went to the moon, indoor running water, solar power. We've built rivers of stone called roadways that have connected people across the planet. And that's just art, literature, music, diversity. So many different types of human beings roaming the planet. We've achieved a great deal of things. Allowing, and I do think it's a matter of allowing it to happen. Allowing a trillionaire to be created is certainly not one of those achievements, or at least should not be considered to be one of those achievements. What about you? What are your...
Exploitation is still the greatest U.S. tradition, because you have someone who came to the United States in a manner that they are now campaigning against. He was not documented. He did not come here the quote unquote correct way. He had a board of directors that forged documents for him to appear credentialed in a way that people could believe that he started companies, which he never did. He sued his way into the history books and into boardrooms. That's what he did. He took Nepo baby money and sued his way into positions. He lived essentially as the biggest welfare king known to mankind to, on paper and on paper only, for a brief period, be known as the world's first trillionaire. Because this is someone that for 2 years lived in a tent on the roof of one of his companies. For another 2.5 years, he lived and literally slept on the production floor of a factory. This is someone that was so enamored, like the couch surfer bum that you would call a relative or a friend that never has a home, that's always, can I stay with you for the night, was so enamored at staying at the White House and the fact that Trump let him have a gallon of Haagen-Dazs ice cream. This is pathetic. We have someone who is essentially poor that slapped with the title of trillionaire after he has exploited people to the point where when he first purchased Twitter, he was living in the Twitter offices and had a welfare check put on him. He locked people in a factory to keep them working during COVID quarantine. The exploitation is ridiculous and should have never been able to stand. But the basis of capitalism in the United States is capitalism in the United States started because of chattel slavery, aka free labor, no labor cost. This is why they tell y'all, oh, we're one big family here. We love everybody. Take this pizza and a gold star. You don't need a raise. So I want you all to think about how little people are paid. And every time Elon Musk takes over a company, how much of the staff he fires and how much life is lost because he's done it. Have we forgotten about all of the Tesla deaths? Because I haven't. Have we forgotten about all of the SpaceX explosions? Because I haven't. Have we forgotten about all of his internet mishaps? Because I haven't. He's not a good businessman. So why are we rewarding less than good, less than mediocre with trillionaire status?
Another friend of the program has popped in to say hello, Pastor.
Hello.
It's anniversary week. How are you?
Oh, fine. Enjoying this anniversary week. I was listening to Taz talk about capitalism and, of course, our favorite subject, Donald Trump. From a heart-to-heart perspective, I think that
heart to non-heart,
right?
Heart to no heart.
A lot of his behavior, a lot of things that are going on truly lines up with Bible prophecy, and I know that Taz could probably attest to this, and so could you, Jeff. We are literally seeing prophecy unfold as we speak. And, the Bible talks about, you shall hear of wars and rumors of wars, but all these things must come to pass. Like everything, including this thing that's heating up in the Middle East, is in line with the book of Revelation. It's almost like his behavior, we're reading almost like a manuscript for scripture. Mm-hmm. And so we've come from the Christian perspective, from the pastoral perspective, we've come not to expect anything other than chaos and disorder and disharmony from him. But we, the Bible says, pray for those who are in authority over you. So we continue to pray. We pray for God's mercy on this country. We pray for God to intervene on our behalf, because God is the only one that can come in. That's the only one he really can't do anything with. Literally, his arms is too short to box with God. And so I am a firm believer that the Lord is able to change the heart of a king or a tyrant. I believe that. And every tyrant has an expiration date. All that the evil has an expiration date. And so as bad as he thinks he is, and all of this kind of Elon Musk and all these different people, they are short-lived in the realm of what's to come. So, I think we're looking at basically people are living out what they're supposed to do. Judas had a part to play in the crucifixion of Christ. He was the son of perdition, and the Lord said it would have been better for him if he had never been born. So, he was born to be a betrayer, just like some people are born to be tyrants. So we have to understand that we, in our limited understanding of what's going on, we do understand that there is hope because we have the Lord. And as long as we are here, as long as Christians walk this earth, there's only but so much that can go on, because grace and mercy still exists.
You have some news. You've become quite the star here since the birth of GCPR, and since you and I have been blessed enough to meet, and your first appearances and so on the program and so on, which is not to in any way say that one led to the other, but
it really did.
Tell people about what's going on.
So I joined GCPR with the invitation of Jeff, and I met Thomas, and I had this concept for a show called Heart to Heart, and it was all about love and relationships, because I'm a therapist. So during the course of this, our GCPR family has jumped in and helped me perfect my show, and Taz, and and Jeff and his advice about how to set the show up. So I was putting things on TikTok like they told me, and a media person had seen a couple of clips, and he was looking for a therapist. They are doing the hookup on Tubi. And so I played Dr. Gia Clinton. That's who I am. And I'm a podcaster, and I have the show, and I see these patients. And it has just been an incredible journey. We still have some filming to do, and then they're going to do editing, but it's supposed to air next week. We are on season 2. And at first I was a guest on the show, and then they started adding more parts, integrating me into more characters with counseling them. And so it has really been wonderful. And if it was not for my GCPR family and my friends who are my GCPR family, I don't think that this show would have evolved into even getting noticed. You guys have been a blessing, and I have no skills, but you guys have been patient.
You have plenty of skills. You got all the skills. Come on now. You got all the skills. Come on now.
You guys really helped me, and I don't think that I could have done this or gotten noticed without you guys, without your help and your assistance. And I know I was a pain in a keister a couple of times, because I was like, oh my God, I don't know what to do. Can you get us to work? What are we going to do? It's like the kid from Home Alone. and you know, I really, and so being in a Tubi movie was amazing. There's a composer that started a clothing line, and he asked me if I'd model his clothes, and I'm like, really?
It's getting very real over there.
Yeah, it's really starting.
Yeah.
So offers are happening, and I really feel like GCPR was a network that gave people who were just beginners and just didn't know anything but, you know, preaching and therapy, a start, you know, and I'm very humbled by it. And I'm very grateful to have a family like you guys. This is truly 2 years of history. And you guys took, you know, misfits like us, we became broadcasters. And I truly love my.
Somebody took the internet radio world, shook it, and we all ended up in the.
Yeah.
We all ended up in the.
Because all I talk about is like love and relationships and coming together and turning the other cheek and forgiveness and stuff. And I really come from a biblical perspective because I believe that God is love. And as long as he exists, as long as we exist as Christians, as long as there's life, there's hope. And as bad as things, oh, thank you. Someone said congratulations. As long as there's life, there's hope. And we can face tomorrow because we have him. And, you know, we know who holds our future. We know that he holds the world in his hands. And so that is what I am very grateful for, in spite of the news and the chaos and the tsunamis and the earthquakes, you know, that are moving through the land and the storms. God controls the storm. You know, and so we know that as bad as someone can get, and we've had some bad tyrants before. There was Hitler and Mussolini and a few of the others, Genghis Khan. I mean, you know, we know that these kind of tyrants are short-lived. You know, we've seen it over and over again throughout history, you know, with Jezebel and Nebuchadnezzar and King of Babylon and the King of Persia, and things like that. So throughout history, there's always one that God has to remind who's really in charge. And that's the stage I'm waiting for, because there at some point there's going to come to, you know, he's going to come face to face with who's really in charge. So, and that's what I'm praying for. And you know, we have a finite existence, but God is infinite. His love is infinite. It has no limits. So we're in good shape. I know how bad this looks, but I'm waiting for the day that God gets the shaking, because he will.
You're in Philadelphia. Have you enjoyed the World Cup?
Yes. And so Philly has a reputation.
And the groups of fans who have taken over the city
yeah, we were out last
occasion?
night. Yeah, we went to Capitol Grill and we were out last night, a friend of mine, and we went down there, and it was absolute pandemonium. So many people are here, and I was nervous because, you know, when we lose, we tear the city up, and when we win, we tear the city up. Philadelphia is truly the city of brotherly love. So we
now, among the traditions of several of the groups of fans is to clean the stadium before they leave. Japanese fans are notorious for, well, I shouldn't say notorious, they're famous for it, that they bring garbage bags and they clean up after themselves. And that seems to have spread throughout other groups of fans. The Norwegian rowing, if you haven't seen the Norwegians doing their Viking ship row during the matches, and especially, I'm sure you probably saw this morning, the wedding. I've referenced it several times throughout the program already today, that the Croatian fans who crashed a wedding yesterday right in Center City.
Oh,
and as the bridal party was outside taking pictures, and the Croatian fans were in the middle of their march toward the stadium, and they stopped and they started taking pictures together. So I do think in some weird ways, this World Cup has displayed the best of what we can be when we when we open ourselves up to it and allow ourselves to be open to it. And the way we can be despite, you know, like you're saying, that we've been through rough times before, but we come through them. And the way that we're in a dark time, but this the way the world has come here to celebrate this, this very money-making sporting event, and let's be honest, that's what it is. Does give a little hope and a little light.
It does, and it's amazing how people managed together to show love, and everybody was celebrating downtown, and it was so sweet. You had the group of people here, and the Barcelonans, and the all these people were here, and they were talking to one another. Philadelphians were guiding them different places, and they had translation books. It was really sweet to see that in the midst of all this chaos, his love still shines through. Everybody was very friendly to one another, and it was such a loving kind of thing to see. Where these foreigners, they come, they hear about Philadelphia, and you know what? A group of them was coming, and they were like, cheesesteaks. That was all they knew in English. It was fun. Cheesesteaks. I'm like, hey! You got it.
Imagine that being the only English word you learned.
You're looking forward to it.
Not even where do I get a cheesesteak, but just
cheesesteak.
Maybe it's implying. It's implied in learning the only word.
Yeah,
we're going to wrap up at the top of the hour.
Lovely people. I did enjoy my time here, but I do have to skedaddle because I have to get backstage and get things together for the Villain's View.
Where do people find you, follow you, hear your show, and so on before we wrap up?
Oh, well, the Taz Effect, as I say, daily news in a way you did not know that you could use. If you cannot wait until Sunday to come over here to the wonderful, glorious The Kennedy Effect, you can join me every day, 3:30 to 5:30 Eastern Standard Time on GCPR on YouTube, or at TazJ77 on YouTube. Or you can just go to Linktree/CincyTaz, that is CINCITAZ, and you can find all of the places to see me. If you are interested in history, I am your girl. You can catch me over on Substack at CincyTaz as well.
And we'll see you again in about 45-ish minutes for the Villain's View.
Yes, you will.
Thank you for coming and visiting me again. I am not worthy, and I appreciate it very, very much.
My pleasure.
We'll see you soon.
Yes,
see ya. Bye.
And before we wrap up here with you, Pastor, I'm wondering if you could offer the audience some. We're 2 minutes to the top of the hour. We're going to wrap up here at the top of the hour. Just some words. Some thoughts, something to look forward to.
I would say don't lose hope. I would say that God is truly in control, and what the news reports and what we see, for as much, disharmony and anger and bitterness and racism and all these ugly things that we're seeing, there's still love in this world. There's still beauty in this world. There's still people in this world that have not bowed down to Baal. There are still people in this world that honor the principles of God, and we know that love covers and love destroys hatred, bitterness, bigotry, and we can't stop marching. We can't stop praying. We can't stop, because the moment we stop, evil wins. And for evil to win, all it needs is for good people to do nothing. That's why we need Jeff Kennedy in this world. That's why we need people who still believe that love is the answer, that God is the answer. And so I would say to you that there is hope. And that hope is in God, and that God is love. And as long as we stand firm, He's going to move.
Thank you for that. Thank you for popping in here for a few minutes. Stay there. I'm going to try to stop this without booting you out of here, because I've done that to George. I don't know how to end this all the time without disconnecting you, and that's not what I mean to do, but hang in there for just a second. It is the top of the hour. That is the end of our program for this week. We thank everybody involved, and I will say goodbye to you all one by one, as I always do, for DJ Lex, DJ Earl, and the entire Hot101.net family. Thank you for allowing me to be part of your broadcast day yet again on this Sunday, June 28th. We will return to you on Sunday, July the 12th. I did my math right earlier. Next Sunday is the 5th. We will be off for the 4th of July holiday weekend. We will return to you on July 12th. Sunday, July the 12th. So for DJ Lex, DJ Earl, and the entire Hot101.net family, thank you for allowing us to be part of your broadcast day. One more time, thank you so much. The music returns right now, and we will see you on July 12th. For everybody at GCPR, for Thomas and Gambit and Gilbert and Pastor Clinton and Pastor Best and Taz and everybody, that the entire GCPR family, you can take a break. You got about half hour. Grab some milk and cookies, walk the dog, catch up on the scores of your favorite game, whatever it might be, and return here from 8:30 as the anniversary week celebration continues at GCPR, Ghost Claw Productions Radio. Again, the Villain's View from 8:30. Conversations with T. Nathan from 11. And Thomas kicks off your broadcast work week tomorrow morning from 8 p.m. Eastern, from 8 p.m. From 8 a.m. That would be morning. See how I did that? I said p.m. I'm wrong. He kicks off your broadcast work week tomorrow morning from 8 a.m. with the sound of coffee. Thank you so much, GCPR. We will see you in 2 weeks. And for everybody on our video broadcast outlets, thanks so much for allowing us to be part of your day yet again and being so loyal to us and our program. We appreciate it a great deal. Thank you so very much. We will see you in 2 weeks. For George and Lynn and Kristen, Daisy the Dog, April Riddick, I'm Jeff Kennedy. This has been The Kennedy Effect for the 28th of June. If you missed any of the program, please go to my YouTube channel, The Kennedy Effect on YouTube, or the YouTube channel for Ghost Claw Productions Radio, and catch up on everything that you missed. Thank you so much. We will see you in 2 weeks. Take care, everyone.